top, Kufman Dalud. So we started off this mimer in terms of continuity from before with the question. Initially, we identified the difference between Shefa and Oir, or Repnim and Ir Makif. With the principle that Oir has only the aspect of expressing the Atzim, whereas Shefa has the aspect of being effective on the recipient. And on this, we ask the question right here in this mimer. The fact is, though, that Oir also has an effect on the recipient on the outside, like the Oir Hashemesh or the Hanefesh gives life. It has an effect external. So we started explaining them. Now we have to delve deeper to understand the difference between Oir and Shefa. And as a first step to that, we pointed out that there is a difference in the process, in the union of Oir and Shefa, in terms of the involvement of the mashpia. In Shefa, there is a preoccupation from the part of the mashpia, of the source, to produce this Shefa. Produce the Shefa and present it and be effective. Whereas in Oir, there is not that preoccupation. So that the union of Oir is only to present the Etzem itself. We pointed out many times, and here also, that this phenomenon that it presents the Etzem is of tremendous significance, and in a very important way, it supersedes the effect of Shefa. Because thereby the recipient becomes related and connected to the source of the Etzem itself. Oy mein hamoyer. Now this is going to be elaborated on further. Top of page Kuf Mendal. V'hinei, behold. Again, behold means observe. Observe means there is something right there in front of you. And it is there in front of you because it's a reality. And all you have to do is open your eyes and you will see it. You do not need to identify what you see in order to see it. As a matter of fact, when you start identifying it, you're limiting it. You're identifying it according to what you're able to identify and then understand. and discern. Whereas when you see it the way it presents itself, then you are seeing the entire reality, the entire truth. And clearly, in order to relate that entire reality, entire truth, your approach must be that which is called Beto. You're simply taking what you are given, rather than seeking something and looking to identify it and to relate to it with your own level of intelligence. Whereby you are uplifted to experience the level of the mashpia itself, of the etzem. This is the difference between Oyer and Shefa, as we have already identified it. And now we're going to go further. Behine, behold, and I said, behold, meaning there's a certain reality that you're aware of, but I have to call your attention to it. I have to remind you that you're aware of it. Behold the following. Iker ha'hefresh, the principal difference, bein oil shefa, between oil and shefa. Oil means just the shine, just the light of the presence of the etzem. Which means the etzem, by its presence, emits this oil. This versus shefa, of something that's being presented. In our simple misholim that we have brought it down to our level, we said that if you are a guest in somebody's home, there are two things that occur at two different levels. There's a principle that you are sitting together in this man's home. And you, in a certain sense, you are experiencing each other's presence. And then there is the other level, where there is actually the host is presenting something as a host, or even at a higher level, there is an interchange of discussion, of intelligence between you. That interchange is expressing each other's thoughts to the others. But as we pointed out, this experiencing, appreciating each other's company is superior, is related to the essence of these two people more than their discussion, than what they're discussing. Even though in discussion, they're actually accepting from each other, they're learning from each other. Yet the relationship at this more subtle level is more significant. It's essence to essence. As I'm saying this, what comes to mind is that when a teacher teaches, even though he is actually giving and transmitting real pieces of information, significant pieces of information, a very important ingredient in that transmission is that the teacher wants to teach and the makabel, the student, wants to learn. Absent one of these, you're missing a very great significant ingredient in this whole relationship. This is where they meet, the teacher and the makabel and the student meet at the oil level, on the essential level. Okay, let's get back inside. Behold, the principal difference. As we've identified many differences, but the principle, the source, the core of the difference between Ein and Shefa. Hainu, which is also the difference between Oyer Pnimi, Oyer Makiv. Shefa is Oyer Pnimi, an oil that is internalized and is produced as an internalizing element. And then there is oil makif. Both are called oil because both are rooted in the truth of the answer. Going back to our very simple motion. When the host serves a meal, or even when these two people communicate on a seichel level, this is also something coming from the inside, from the truth of the people, of the person. And it's also expressing the true relationship and appreciation of each other. The reason he's serving is because he appreciates him. So therefore that also is called oyer, even though he's serving him a meal. But the principle behind this meal and motivation behind this meal is oyer. Is his appreciation of him. But that oyer is different than the oyer that is expressed and is identifiable just in them being in company with each other, as we said before. This is why the Rebbe says, the principal difference between oyer and shefa. Here, oyer is we call oyer and shefa we call shefa. And then the Rebbe translates it, says, no, this is not, the shefa is not oyer. Hainu, which means bein oyer pnimi, oyer makif. Both are oyer. Because both are emanating from the truth of the mashpia, to the truth of the makabel. Like I pointed out before, a very important aspect of a teacher is that he wants to teach. This is oyer. And the makabel wants to learn. So therefore their relationship is basically oyer to oyer. Except that one is called oyer pnimi and one is called oyer makif. Let's continue. The Oyer Pnimi, so the principal difference between Oyer Pnimi is, and El Makif is, the Oyer Pnimi, where the Oyer Pnimi hamshochose min ho'atzmus. It's hamshoch, it's drawing, it's coming forth from the atzmus itself. Everything comes from the atzmus. Again, as we just said, even though he's teaching him something or is giving him a meal, there is the etzem in him that is personally involved in this teaching. He wants to teach. It's also from the hamshocha, from the etzem. Why does he want to teach? Because this which he's going to teach is something of tremendous significance to him. It expresses his truth. And therefore the hamshocha from the atzmus, the Oyer Pnimi hamshocha from the atzmus, who will be bechinas, the hamshocha from the atzmus, of Oyer Pnimi is bechinas mehus mitzius dover. He's in the bechina, he's in the manner that can be identified as mehus, as a substance, a mitzius dover, and something of a tangible presence. Now we are speaking not as the inyan is finally reaching the recipient. Now we're speaking as the inyan is originates in the etzem. In the etzem itself, it originates in these two different manners. Oyer Pnimi originates in the mouth etzem, in the bechinas mitzius dover. It originates as a substance. The Oyer Makif, and the Oyer Makif, hamshochosoi, its original draw, its original emanation from the etzem, is bebechinas AYIN. Oh, that's a new term. Chutzpah.
The flies.
The Oyer Makif hamshochosei from the etzem is bebechinas AYIN. He's in an AYIN manner. Now we have a new concept, a new term. Hamshocha bebechinas AYIN, or hamshocha bebechinas mehus dover, mitzius dover, mehus dover. What kind of hamshocha is it that is mitzius mehus, that is AYIN? AYIN means a non-presence. If it's a non-presence, what is nimshach? And yet we say, this is a hamshocha from the atzmus. And this hamshocha from the atzmus is in a manner that is in an AYIN manner. Is a non-presence manner. So clearly this is going to be discussed. But we must follow the instruction here that first of all is v'hinei. Please realize, what does it mean? What is hamshocha b'chinas AYIN? A hamshocha that is in a non-presence manner of hamshocha. In other words, it's a hamshocha. But the hamshocha is in a manner that is not identifiable. There is no presence. It's ayin. It's not identifiable as a hamshocha. I mentioned recently the pasuk that says, "Hayelchu shnayim yardov bilti im neyodu." Would two people be walking together if they were not rendezvoused, if they not had agreed to walk together? They were introduced to each other. They identified each other. And this walking together, and this neyodu, is really an ayin, a non-presence type of transmission. They can be together without uttering a single word, without the need of uttering a word. They experience each other's company, period. Without as much as producing and making the other person know that I'm here. Except for this one aspect. They're walking together. Or they're sitting at the same table. Or they're sitting in the same room together, on the same table. Each one is preoccupied with his own thoughts. And yet, there is some kind of a very subtle relationship between them. This relationship is called AYIN. To the observer, nothing is transpiring between the two people. To the two people themselves, they are experiencing each other's true presence, more than anything that can be expressed in words. It is the ayin, it is the very truth of their presence that relates them together. Yes, sir. Thank you. Let's come to ayin. So oir makif is nimsha bibchinas ayin. In an ayin bechina. Bechina means if you test for it, you say, what do you see? Nothing. This nothing is attesting to the truth of their relationship. If there's nothing, so why are they working together? They're not contributing anything to each other. This ayin attests to a much deeper truth of each one of these participants. In order for them to have that aspect of ayin, they have to be, first of all, living human beings, and they have to be human beings who appreciate what life is. Not with the experience of food, experience of something. They have a sense of reality about themselves. Each one recognizes that his presence in the world is of phenomenal significance, of a superworldly significance. They were created by the Creator, who has his own reason why he created them. They're not there for a personal experience. The reason that there are two people in the world is because each one was created directly by the Creator. Each one is a real essence. If they appreciate this truth about themselves, then they can relate to each other at the ayin level. If they do not appreciate this element about themselves, and they are focused only on their personal experience, then there's no ayin transmitted in them. There's no ayin in their presence. This ayin is representative of the fact that they each are there not because they made themselves for some personal reason. They came into being by the will of the Creator. They don't even delve into it. What is His kavanah in this? They only know that they are there that they are real people. That there's a real meaning in their being here. That real meaning is something which eludes them, which they're not capable to understand. But they trust the Creator that there is definitely great meaning in their presence. And it is at this level of meaning that is not defined by them or defined by the reason they are there altogether, which is not within their purview, within their intelligence to know. Therefore, they have this ayin element, the truth of their presence, without expressing what it is. Let's continue on the third line. So the Or Makiv is Nimshach Bibchinas Ayin. In an ayin bechina, something that tests for ayin. There is no presence. V'hainu, which means, and this is important. Again, v'hine, please put attention. It means this: the tchilas oifen ha'hamshocha, that the very beginning, the very starting point, the very initial manner of the hamshocha v'hizgalos shalahem, the hamshocha, the draw and hizgalos and the revelation shalahem of these two, of Or Pnimi and Or Makiv, in their inception, Or Pnimi and Or Makiv at their inception level, when they're still in the Yetzim. From the Yetzim. Hine, oe pnimi. So at that level, behold, the oe pnimi, nimtzo min ha'atzmus, is present, comes to a presence from the atzmus, bebchinas mitzius dover. In a bechina of mitzius dover. It comes from the atzmus in a mitzius dover manner or an aspect. It's a statement from the atzmus of an of some definable presence. The oil makiv, and then on the other hand, the oil makiv, the oil that ultimately remains makiv, above kelim, nimtzo mino atzmut b'bchinas ayin. It comes forth. It gets a presence from the atzmus on the initial level, b'bchinas ayin, in the bechina of ayin. It comes from the atzmus in a non-presence manner. So here is where we need to put on, so to speak, our vihine, and see it in the finest aspect of our observation. If it is ayin, so what comes forth from the atzmus? It is presence. It comes to a presence from the atzmus in ayin, in b'bchinas ayin, in an ayin manner. So if there is ayin, so what is nimtzah? What comes forth? This is what we said just a few moments ago. That there is a sense of reality in a person that is beyond his own identifying capability. I told you quite a while ago of an experience that I had at my table. We had the guest who was, he said he was born retarded. He and his brother both born retarded, and they worked, and he said they broke out of it. So I observed this breaking out, and I realized they didn't break out. They learned how to behave. Didn't break out. What did I observe? I observed that he was sitting at our table. The minute the conversation ceased, it was quiet, he would fall asleep. Literally. So I said to him, you're tired? No. He fell asleep. There was nothing going on. Nothing going on, so I fell asleep. This is what we're talking about. The ayin is missing. He's got all functional qualities. But the ayin, the principal reality of his real presence, that he is a creation, and that every moment of his life is a moment of life. And he experiences whether he knows what he's experiencing or not, whether anything is going on or not. He's sitting next to somebody else. He's sitting next to somebody else. Nothing is happening, but they're sitting. That itself is a reality.